Welcome back to another Dev's Adventures. How are you guys doing today? Thank you for joining me on today's video. Today, we're going to do a video that we have not done in quite a while. A deck tech video. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. I've been changing up the decks recently. We're taking a look at Momir Vig today. As you can see by some of the cards up front here, we got some pretty awesome stuff. Strap in, grab your snacks, get some popcorn, a drink, and let's begin the deck tech. Momir Vig, the Simic Visionary. This is a commander that I have not really wanted to play so much in the past. You know, I got some comments on one of my videos saying like, oh, Momir's so much better, it's like a turn 3 or 4 win, because I'm always going on about how Yissen's like a turn 4, 5, or 6 win. And I don't know, I wanted to change things up, and throughout all of the different commanders that there are, I decided to go with green and blue. I decided to try it out, and I like it. I like Momir Vig. I'm sure it can be a very quick commander. The way that this deck is set up currently, I don't know, it can win like turn 4, turn 5, but I feel that it takes a little bit longer to ramp up. It's actually really nice to play something other than mono green for a change. I've been playing mono green for so long. For so freaking long. I went from like Azuri to Yissen, and I've been playing Yissen for about a year now. Maybe a little bit less than a year, but I was playing Azuri for probably 2 years. I like being able to have the access to blue. It takes a little bit longer to get going, but it's pretty fun. Starting off, I am running Gertrude. Stop stepping on the cards. She just walks all over the place. Freaking cat. I am running 36 lands in this deck. I'm still trying to work out the best ratio of green to blue, but I've basically split it. I've got 16 forests. As you can see, they're the best forests. The full art Zendikars. 16 islands. Also Zendikar. The full art Zendikars. I'm running 4 non-basic lands. In this deck, I'm actually running Nykthos. As you'll see later, I've got some tutors for lands, and this really helps me do the shenanigans. Nykthos is honestly kind of a combo piece in this deck. Being able to just drop a few creatures, have my mana dorks, have a Nykthos. I'm able to just tap for my devotion, play Palancron, and just go crazy from there. Anybody watching this, if you have any better ideas for anything in this deck, let me know if you have any ideas for combos, because I kind of want to go a bit combo heavy with this deck. Next up, we have Temple of Mystery. I don't like to run any lands that come into tapped, honestly, that come in tapped. But this one, it's kind of okay because you get the scry. It kind of lets you know how screwed you're going to be next turn. Then we've got Yavimaya Coast. You know, you have to have Yavimaya Coast. I don't know, I was looking for cards to put in here and I was like, that seems cool. I don't mind taking 1 damage. It comes in untapped. It's fantastic. It's got some nice artwork. One of the best lands that I just have in general is Breeding Pool. I actually picked up 2 of these things from bases because I've got one in this deck and I've got one in my group hug deck. But Breeding Pool, Shockland, you all know what that does. Pretty fantastic. I was glad to pick that up when I did. The creatures are the highlight of this deck. That's where a lot of the power comes from, so I'm going to be doing those last. Right now, we're going to go into sorceries and instants. As of right now, I'm running 7 sorceries. In no particular order, I have Harmonize. I like to draw with this deck. It just kind of helps you get through the cards a bit faster. Maybe get into some of those counter spells to help hold off your opponents until you can do the things. After that, we've got my first land tutor, Sylvan Scrying, just to get that Nykthos. Honestly, that's really what I'm going for. If I don't draw into it by then, maybe I'll draw into Sylvan Scrying. That's going to help me get the Nykthos to do the shenanigans. Urban Evolution. This one, I put it back in the deck today while I was getting ready for this deck tech. Draw 3 cards for 5. That's not too bad. The play additional land is okay, but honestly, I don't know when I'm going to use that. Usually by the time I'm able to cast Urban Evolution, I don't really have any more lands in hand. So this is kind of just for that draw, just that extra draw. 3 cards, kind of expensive, just getting that draw, you know. Sometimes you need to draw some cards. Ponder. That is our next card. Ponder, play land, see how screwed you are for the next 3 turns, and maybe get rid of it if you so need. Serum Visions. This was a fantastic one I got from Michael at the shop. Draw card, scry 2, just getting that draw, trying to fix your pulls basically, seeing what you can get. Fabricate. Fabricate, it's okay. 3-drop, sorcery, search for an artifact, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Honestly, I'm probably going to be getting Paradox Engine with Fabricate, unless I've got like just the right amount of cards, exactly what I need. I might grab something else. You'll see later on what I have, but Paradox Engine, I'm mostly going to be grabbing with Fabricate. We've got Divination. We got a nice foily Divination. Sparkly! Yeah, it's okay. Again, just cycling through the deck faster. Trying to get some, just trying to get exactly what you need, you know? Instants. I have a lot of instants. 18. My mouth is getting dry. Time for a little drink break. Starting off, crop rotation. Again, basically to pull that Nykthos. Moving on here, we've got a Plasm Capture. This is not one that I've seen really anybody run, but I really kind of wanted to add some of those counter spells in here. There are probably some better things. It's counter target spell, which is really nice. There's no specifics about it. And you get mana at the beginning of your next pre-combat main phase, which is pretty cool. In any combination of colors. So I think it's kind of worth it. A lot of people are going to be dropping like 3-4 cost spells. And so that's just going to help you get there. So next counter spell, we've got a Mana Leak. Mana Leak is just fantastic. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. A lot of people, I feel like, hate on this card, but honestly, it's pretty freaking fantastic. A lot of the tactics are like, I want to leave 2 mana open, or even 1 mana open, and hope that someone thinks I have a counter spell. And so they'll tap out and leave like 1 or 2 mana open, and then you hit them with a Mana Leak, and they're just like, well, shit. Speaking of counter spells, we got a counter spell. An Ice Age counter spell, by the way. I like my Ice Age. Counter spell, I mean, what is there to say about it? We all know what it does. 2 blue mana, counter target spell. It's pretty fantastic. So moving on to my poor man's tutor, I've got long-term plans. I mean, it's 3, search for a card, put it 3rd from the top. That kind of sucks, but with as much as I draw in this deck, I think it's worth it. Most of the time, I'm not going to be waiting 3 turns to draw into it. Honestly, I can either draw it that same turn, or at least the following turn. Still pretty fantastic. I mean, search for a card, poor man's tutor. It's pretty nice. Here's another counter spell, which I kind of like. 2. Well, let me tell you what it is first. Jeez, slow down, Devin. Familiar's Ruse. 2 blue. Counter target spell. An additional cost, though, is to bounce a creature to your hand. I'm okay with that. You know, it's a counter spell. Pretty much. You have to bounce a creature. Whatever. I'll bounce my creatures. It's a lot better than like having to sacrifice your creature. Sticking with the themes of counter spells, we've got a Swan Song. I had to get a Swan Song. It's fantastic to counter someone's spell with a Swan Song. Whenever you do that, people are always like, what the heck, man? Really? Really? It's Specific, I mean, enchantment instant or sorry, that's word. Still fantastic. This, I mean, Swan Song comes in handy a lot more than you would think, honestly. Well, I said these were in no particular order, but it seems like we're just continuing the theme with counter spells. Negate. You all know what negate does, right? 2, counter target non-creature spell. That is better than the other one. I always forget what it's called. The counter target creature spell. I mean, negate is going to work, I want to say, like 99% of the time, honestly. And especially, like I was saying in my group, people don't rely heavily on the creatures, so I'm okay with them casting a creature more than I am with them casting anything else. So counter target non-creature spell, that's pretty good. Capsize. Capsize buyback! Capsize is just an awesome card. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. You're always going to pay the buyback. That's expensive. 6 mana, but if I'm going infinite, I'm just going to bounce I'm literally just going to bounce everything that you have and either attack with creatures or just be lousy and be like, no, get rid of everything. Just put it back to your hand. Let's start this game over. Hey, look at that! It's not a counterspell. It's an opt. Just fantastic. That turn 1, see how screwed you're going to be next turn, scry 1, draw a card. Pretty nice. It really sucks when you opt, look at a land that you don't want, put it away, and then you get the same thing. That's happened to me a couple times. So then we have Anticipate. I really like Anticipate. It lets you look at so many freaking cards and then just put one to your hand. And then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's just fantastic. Look at the top 3 and then just put one to your hand. Like, who doesn't want to do that? Dissolve. Dissolve is kind of cool. You know, again, trying to get through your deck a little bit faster. You pay 3, counter target spell, and then you scry 1. That's pretty fantastic. I was gonna say that's better than cancel, but oh no, yeah, it's better than cancel. I was thinking cancel was 2 and a blue, but no, it's 2 blue and 1. So dissolve is just a better cancel. Speaking of cancel. Just counter target spell for 3, 2 blue and a colorless. Without the scry 1. It's still okay. Stubborn Denial. Devin, why the heck are you running Stubborn Denial? Because Stubborn Denial, it's a 1-drop counter spell. As long as you have Ferocious. If you have a creature with power 4 or more, it's a 1-drop counter spell. Moving on, we've got Memory Lapse. 2-drop, 1 colorless and a blue. Counter target spell, put it back to their hand. I just really didn't have anything better. I mean, it's a 2-drop, it puts it back to their hand, but that can really make a difference. I'm sure you guys know, even like 1 turn makes a complete difference when you're playing Commander. You make one player put something back to their hand, they try and go off, they try and do some crazy stuff. You're like, no, put that shit back to your hand. Arcane Denial. I really like Arcane Denial. I've got one in this deck, I've got one in Kaneos and Tiro, but it's kind of fantastic. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Honestly, what do you think of Arcane Denial? It's a counter spell that lets your opponent draw 2 and you draw 1 at the next upkeep. I think it's a good trade-off. Like Arcane Denial, if someone is trying to play some nonsense, you can just Arcane Denial them, and some of the time, most of the time, what they draw into is not going to be as good as what you countered. 2 more instants. We got Brainstorm, the penultimate instant. Brainstorm. Draw 3 cards, put 2 back, in any order. It's kind of cool. Again, play an island, cast Brainstorm at the end of your opponent's turn, and see how screwed you're going to be, and maybe you get some better stuff and you're like, no, let's put what's in my hand back on top, save that for later, you know? One last instant, boy, this is taking a while to get through. One last instant, can you see it? It's whir of invention. Whir, wire, whir, I think it's whir. It sounds weird. Whir of invention, whir, whir. What's right? Tell me down below. So this is kind of cool. It's kind of expensive, especially if I'm trying to get a paradox engine with it. I mean, 3 blue, that's kind of heavy. You're paying 8 to put a paradox engine into play, which is fantastic, but I mean, it's 3 blue, but... So anyway, that's it for the instance. It's, I think, time to move on to some enchantments. This is gonna be a really weird video, I think. Is it? Probably. Probably. I've only got 3 enchantments in this deck. Starting off, we have Search for Escanta. As you can see, it just kind of lets you get through the deck that much faster, and then when it flips, can I remember? When it flips, you pay 3, tap it, reveal the top 3 cards of your library, I believe. It'll be on the screen over here somewhere. You'll be able to see, but look at the top 4 cards. My bad. Whoa, guys. Calm down now. Non-creature, non-land cards. I have a way of getting my land cards that I want. I have a way of getting the Nykthos. I'm going to be drawing into lands. Momir Vig lets me get my creatures, and so Search for Escanta is just really cool because it lets me get any of the many instants and sorceries or artifacts or enchantments in my deck. It's pretty fantastic. Second enchantment, I've got Mystic Remora. Kind of cool. At first, when I got this card, I was thinking cumulative upkeep. Oh, I pay 1 each upkeep. Just 1. Boy, was I wrong. The Oracle text, or whatever, states you actually put an age counter on Mystic Remora. Each upkeep. So you put an age counter on Mystic Remora, and you pay 1 mana for each age counter on it. But that's fine. You know, after a couple turns, if you can't pay for the mana, you probably still got your value's worth. Not as good, though, as the next card, which is its big brother, Rhystic Study. Rhystic Study, they have to pay 1. Like, if you play this early game, you're going to be drawing a lot of cards, and it's going to stay on the field unless someone gets rid of it. And honestly, most of the time, people just aren't going to pay. Unless it's a really late game. Unless you're going into like turn 8 to 10, then people will start paying for it. But that's it for enchantments. I think we're going to move on to the artifacts. Artifacts. I really like artifacts. I probably like artifacts second to elves. I've got some good artifacts in this deck, and then maybe some not so good ones, but starting off, we're just gonna go big with Paradox Engine, you know. Nice shiny one. Nice, actually it's the release date one, it's the promo. I got from my buddy James. Thanks, James. You're freaking awesome. It helps me do the crazy things. As you saw, I've got a couple ways to pull it out. I'm drawing a lot of cards, so there's a good chance I'm going to draw into it. If I've got a few elves on the field, like as you'll see coming up, I've got not so many elves, but I do have a good amount. And so if I've got my elves on the field, and I've got Paradox Engine, and I'm casting Palancron, it's just freaking nuts. It's over. I'm winning. Fantastic card. It should be banned, honestly. 3 Dynamo. Pretty good. 4 for 3 colorless. Like, that's better than what's coming up next. I've been wanting one for a while. I finally picked one up. It's just a good card. 4 for 3 colorless mana. It's not too bad. Definitely better than Sisay's Ring. 4 for 2 colorless mana. I felt like this deck needed a couple more of the rocks. I thought it would do well with the rocks. And even Sisay's Ring, like it's a 4 for 2 mana. That really kind of sucks, especially when you've got Soul Ring, which is the next card, but I don't know, it's what I've got. I'm working with what I've got. Like I said, I'm just trying to build the deck up, and right now I've got a Sisay's Ring. I would definitely replace this with a Mana Crypt. That would be good. But until I can afford $100 on a single card, I think Sisay's Ring will do just fine. Soul Ring. Soul Ring is just a fantastic card. There is a reason it's going up in price. It's like $3 or $4. Not quite $4, but it's getting there. Like Soul Ring, because Soul Ring. I haven't said that in a long time. Soul Ring because Soul Ring. Sensei's Divining Top, just because I didn't draw a lot of cards, unless I had top in my opening hand, it did nothing for me. So in this deck, just to kind of get through it a bit faster, it really helps. Even if I don't have it in my opening hand, like Sensei's Divining Top is a pretty fantastic card to have in this deck. Chrome Mox. If you saw one of my previous videos, I ended up winning the monthly points tournament at bases. I got a certain amount of store credit in singles, and I ended up picking up my second breeding pool as well as this Chrome Mox. We've got 2 left. I've got Simic Signet. This is one that I actually put into the deck today. Some people play them, some people don't. They're kind of alright, I guess. I don't really have much to say about it, but moving on from there, I have Aetherflux Reservoir. So this would probably be the second one that I would search for, other than Paradox Engine. If I've got the right cards, maybe I'm just going to infinitely bounce Palancron. With Aetherflux Reservoir, if you didn't have your commander on the field, you could just infinitely bounce Palancron, gain infinite life, and then just kill everybody. Kind of fun, kind of cool. That's the artifact, guys. I'm currently running 8. Did I say that earlier? I've got 8 artifacts in this deck. Like I said, I'm working with what I got. It's really dark over here. I need to get some better lighting. Last category of the deck, guys, is the creatures. All of the fantastic creatures. Let me see how many I'm running, because I don't really know. So I'm actually currently running 27 creatures, if I counted that right. So I've got 6 blue creatures, 11 green creatures, I've got 1 artifact creature, and then 9 multicolored creatures. So again, in no particular order besides color, I'll start off with blue, and we'll just go through them. I'll let you know what I have, and this is going to be awesome. This is going to be where the good stuff is. This is going to be the main power of the deck. So starting off, I've got a Venser Shaper Savant. This is kind of nice. It's got flash, it's a counterspell, it's a creature, it's just a bundled package. You flash it in, you're like, yeah, no, stop that, put it back to your hand. And, I mean, of course, don't do that when they have the mana to cast it again. I've done that, that's why I keep saying that. You know, sometimes, if need be, I'll search them with Momir Vig, and then just, be like, no, stop your shenanigans, stop that. We've got Azami, Lady of Scrolls. This is one that I actually added back into the deck today. I don't have a ton of wizards, but there are quite a few wizards. Again, it's always nice to just draw. I mean, you can cast her and then just tap her immediately. It doesn't matter that she has Summoning Sickness. It's an activated ability, so you can just tap her to activate the ability and draw a card. I also put Mole Drifter back in the deck. This is just a good card. Most of the time you're going to be playing it for its convoke cost and just drawing cards. You're wanting that draw. That's why you're playing the card. That's why you're casting Mole Drifter. And I don't really care if I have to sacrifice it. I just want those cards. So I'll usually cast it for its convoke cost and then just get those cards. Here's where things start to get a bit spicy. Peregrine Drake. 5-drop, 2/3 flyer. When it comes into play, untap 5 lands. Honestly, it's not as good as Palancron, but it still works pretty well, especially if you've got your Nykthos and your devotion is higher. Because with Peregrine Drake, my devotion has to be higher in order to go infinite than it does with Palancron. I guess we'll just get right into it. Palancron. I've said it enough this video anyway. Oh, my Palancron. Just a fantastic card. I love playing Palinchron, especially with Paradox Engine and a Nykthos. Like, I just do all the things, especially if you've got a Deadeye Navigator. Everybody knows about the Deadeye Palinchron combo, as well as Phantasmal Image. Thank you to whoever it was that pointed that out. I'll find your comment and add it to the video, but I am going to eventually get a Phantasmal Image because that would be fantastic. To the green creature spells. What did I say I'm running? Like 11? So most of these are going to be dorks, honestly. I've got Finehorn Elves. It's a mana dork. It's a 1-drop, 1/1, taps for green. I guess we'll just go through the mana dorks. I've got Birds of Paradise, fantastic card. Same as a Finehorn Elves, except it's a bird with flying and taps for any color, and it's a 0/1. Same, but different. Then we got the Llanowar Elves. Same thing, taps for green mana. We've got the Arbor Elf, which is not the same thing. This actually taps to untap target forest. Yep, key wording right there. Burial Druid, which again is a mana dork. That taps for colorless. Everybody says that Burial Druid is the worst mana dork. They might be right. Every single time that I've played Burial Druid, it has always helped me either play my commander, play Yiss turn 2. Shut up about Yiss, we're doing a Momir Vig deck tech. It is colorless mana, but it is still mana that lets me get there. And then Elvish Mystic. Did I say Elvish Mystic? Same thing as Finehorn Elves and Llanowar Elves. Just taps for green mana. That brings our 1-drop mana dorks to a total of 6. I wish there were more. I mean, Dryad Arbor just doesn't count. I freaking hate Dryad Arbor, even though I just picked one up the other day. Let's move on to the 2-drop mana dorks. We've got a Priest of Titania. I'm running a good amount of elves in this deck. My commander's an elf. Some of my other creatures are elves. If I can get Priest of Titania out, things are going to get interesting. You all should know what Priest of Titania does. It taps for the number of elves in play. We have got the Gilded Lotus of creatures. Do you know what I'm talking about? Somberwald Sage. This is definitely the Gilded Lotus for creatures. It's a 3-drop, 0/1 that taps for 3 of any color. It's it's nice. I like it. After that, we've got Wall of Blossoms. This card goes really well with Momir Vig because when I cast it, I get to tutor for a creature, and then with its ability, with Wall of Blossoms ability, I just draw the card. Synergy, that's the word. It's synergy with Momir Vig is really good. Being able to just tutor and then draw. It's fantastic. We have Shaman of Forgotten Ways. A lot of these cards tap for mana, as you can tell. A lot of the green ones, at least. Shaman of Forgotten Ways. I run this in every deck except for Kaneos and Tiro. 2 mana in any combination of colors to cast creature spells, and then it's ferocious. Last but not least, we have Soul of the Harvest. This one is kind of nice. It's like an alternative to maybe I don't have my commander on the field. Maybe someone bounced my commander or exile them or kill them or whatnot. I could play Soul of the Harvest and then like infinitely bounce a creature and then just draw my deck. That and like Palinchron and Peregrine Drake, those go extremely well with this card right here. Can you see it? Probably not. It's a Psychosis Crawler. Search for Psychosis Crawler, play him. When I bounce my Palinchron, I draw a card because of Momir's ability. Whenever you cast a blue creature spell, you draw a card. And so I'll just draw as many cards as I need to with Psychosis Crawler on the field, and I'll just kill my opponents. But starting off, we've got Tishana, Voice of Thunder. As you may know, I was running her as my commander a little while back, and she was doing really well. She was doing really well, and she does really well in this deck. You know, I can infinitely bounce her, draw my deck, and then again, I'll have Psychosis Crawler on the field, and then just kill you that way. Or I'll draw as many cards as I need to, and then just do some shenanigans. Coiling Oracle. I like Coiling Oracle. It's kind of cool, you know? You put a land into play, or you draw a card. Kind of a good card. Works well with Momir for sure. Moving on, we've got Altered Ego. I really like this card. Unless I draw into it, I really don't do much with it. But it is still a fantastic card. Moving on from there, we've got Mystic Snake. This is just a good card. This is just honestly a good card. If I don't have counter spells in my hand and I'm like doing the things and I think someone's going to try and stop me, I'll definitely tutor for Mystic Snake. And then they know it's like, oh well, now he's got a counter spell for sure in his hand. It's kind of cool. I really like it. It's like, okay, I know they're up to something. I'm just going to grab this just in case. And then sometimes people forget that you got it. And I'm like, oh, Mystic Snake. And they're like, what the heck? And I'm like, yeah. We've got Weaver of Currents. This is one of the ones that I was talking about. That I look at it and I'm like, I kind of want to take that out for something better. I will not search for this. I just kind of hope I draw into it. I'm probably going to end up taking this out at some point. 4 cards left. Let's go to Shardless Agent. I like Shardless Agent. I've considered taking it out of the deck, but until I get better stuff, it's going to stay. It's pretty fantastic. Kiora's Follower. This card is kind of cool. 2 for a 2/2 untapped target permanent. I'm actually running one of these in Knavis and Tyros to be friendly. You can do a lot with this. What did I have? Like Kiora's Follower on the field. I had Nykthos. I had Paradox Engine. Like this is just a fantastic card. This helps you combo off that much faster. Down to the last 2 cards, we're running with a Rashmi. Rashmi Eternity's Crafter. It's like a single run cascade, basically. It's kind of cool. I really like it. Rashmi is a fantastic card. And then last but not least, we have Edric, Spymaster of Trest. Kind of cool. This helps quite a bit. You know, you can get him out really early and then just start attacking with like 1 or 2 creatures and just start cycling through your deck, drawing the cards. I like it. Honestly, Edric, it's a fun card, but I would probably consider switching it out for something a little bit better, just because it's kind of slow for the deck. Like, it helps you get the cards, but it's not one that I'm going to be searching for, honestly, unless the game is going pretty long and I've already been screwed over. Maybe I need to get extra cards. I'm like, okay, let's get an Edric and let's see what cards we can draw into. But generally, unless I draw into it, unless I have it in my opening hand, I'm not going to search for it. So, but anyway, that is that's the last of the creatures, guys. Which actually brings us to the end of the deck tech. That was something there. Oh boy, it has been a while since I've done a deck tech, and I see why. My throat, my voice, I don't talk this much. Like I was saying, this is kind of just how I have it right now. I'm working with what I've got. I've bought quite a few cards recently, so I'm trying to hold back before I buy more. Let me know if you guys have any ideas for the deck. Let me know cards to take out, cards to put in. Someone mentioned Phantasmal Image. Thank you for that, because that's going to be an awesome combo. And yeah, I will put it in the description below. It'll be on tappedout.com, as well as all the other decks that I have. Freaking Ruthar's up there, Yissen's up there. My Azuri deck from years ago is up there. Oh, Tishana is up there as well. I've got a few decks, so definitely go check them out. Again, thank you for joining me on today's video. I hope you enjoyed the Momir Vig deck tech. And yeah, I think I want to be doing a Yissen deck tech next. That has changed quite a bit since I've played it last. Or since I last did a deck tech for it. And it's gotten even better, I think. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Did I scare you? Bye. Bye. Bye, guys. I'm just gonna go now. Right? Just take a look at the shelf I made. Bye. I don't know what, I don't know, but I mean, bye.